Listen, dividend investing has to be one of the coolest concepts that's ever existed. Essentially, what you're doing is you're kind of buying part ownership into these companies that are really well financially backed. Let's say you bought a share of McDonald's. Well, now you could go into your local McDonald's and start bossing around the workers because you own part of that company. Now, that's not really what you should be doing, but kind of essentially that's how it works. And at the same time, if you identify these solid companies, these dividend paying companies, you are getting a share of the profits right back into your pocket. You can do whatever you want with the money. You could use it on your phone bill, or you could use it like I do to reinvest back into more dividend paying companies, continue growing your portfolio and getting that dividend snowball rolling. Now, there is arguments made against dividend investing. Some people don't like it because it takes a long time to establish your portfolio. There's tax implications to dividend investing, and it's just honestly a boring method. But for me, I've found that I've gotten better results from dividend investing as opposed to going after growth companies. And I try to set up my portfolio in a way where I'm trying to compete against the overall stock market. And I've got a large holding in ETFs that trace the stock market. I've got a large holding in other dividend tracing ETFs. And then I've got sort of my fun portfolio where I'm trying to make some of my own individual picks. And so I set up my portfolio in a way that I'm really comfortable with. That's like one of the most important things you can do as an investor. Find out what works for you, what resonates with you, what's going to get you investing more money. And that's probably the best strategy you got. So in this video, I'm going to be breaking down my overall dividend income that I have in my newly constructed portfolio, and let's dive in. Now, the first thing I want to cover, not necessarily dividend income, but something really cool. I use Wealthfront from a high interest savings account. This is actually giving me around, $90 to $100 every single month. And I just keep adding it to my emergency fund, but you could take this money out similar to dividend income. I could invest in other stocks, do whatever I want with it. I just think it's really important that if you have any sort of money on the side, you might as well get it working for you just a little bit. High interest savings account, Wealthfront, 5%. I love it. Great application. But anyways, you can see 86.26 in March, 80.18 in February. We're now in April, so it's going to continue to grow. I just keep it in this account. You could take it out and reinvest it, but honestly, I just like watching it grow here. So that's what I do. Now let's jump into the portfolio. All right, let's break down a couple portfolios that I have here. First, I've got this Robinhood investing portfolio. This is the one that I really restructured recently in that last video that I put out. And here's what's going on in this portfolio. These are investments that I am really comfortable with making over time. They're big names. As I scroll through, you can see Apple, AbbVie, Amazon, Comcast, Chevron, Home Depot, Johnson & Johnson, Meta, Microsoft, Realty Income, Pepsi, and Visa. Big name players that most of y'all are probably familiar with, whether you're an investor or not. And I think that's like a good telling sign of some of the investments that I'm making. Like, these are ones that I'm comfortable with over time. It doesn't matter what's going on with the stock market. It could drop. Some of these prices could drop. And honestly, I'm going to be looking at in a little bit of a greedy element where I can then scoop up these stocks, these investments at a lower price. And then historically what happens, turn around and be valued way higher than where they're at today. Now, the stock market right now is at all-time highs, and yes, it's kind of tricky to identify some investments when it gets to that, crazy price, but there's no reason to wait. I think in my case, timing the market is extremely hard to do, and I find that time in the market beats timing the market. Now, if I'm looking at what's going on in my Roth IRA, there's just two simple investments in here. I want this portfolio to be completely hands-off. I don't want to have to worry about anything in this, and I just want to set this up so it automatically invests and I don't think twice about it. Now, in this account, I've got SCHD and VTI. SCHD, again, my favorite ETF that goes after dividend paying companies. And then VTI just kind of traces the overall market. Now, the other portfolio, hopefully I'm going to end up beating this portfolio with. But at the end of the day, I also think that the one that we just covered for Robinhood investing, it kind of won't drop as bad if there is a huge downswing in the market. Like, it'll be interesting to see how this portfolio compares over time. And you see the annual income from this one in terms of dividends, $380. The annual income from the last one, $330. And despite this one being $22,000 versus about $16,000, this one has $5,000 worth of cash. Now, I did put out a poll in my community tab last week asking y'all what you thought about whether or not I invest the lump sum of about $5,000 to $6,000 that I have left in buying power. And it seemed like most people said you should dollar cost average through the remainder of the year. Now leave a comment. Let me know your thoughts on whether or not I should do that. But just curious to see what y'all think about that. Now, if I go to the dashboard, we can see both portfolios combined. Portfolio yield is 1.9%, not massively high. That yield on cost is 2.61%. And the annual income from this is $710. Now, let's factor in that, roughly $90 to $100 a month in the emergency fund that I'm taking in. We could add like $1,200 to this, and this becomes roughly $1,900. Now, again, I think a lot of this is going to scale here in the near future, mainly because of my income sources and the rental property that essentially covers my living costs. So all the money that I'm making from my 9 to 5, from YouTube, side businesses, what have you, I'm able to pocket and hopefully reinvest into the channel. But at the end of the day, get more money working for me and doing what I love, investing in the stock market. So let's go ahead. And one thing that's really cool is you can see all of the upcoming dividends here. And the lowest months that I'm going to have is just $19, which isn't anything too crazy. The highest months are $130. Now you can see these are spread out amongst different months. Some dividend paying companies will pay you every single month. Some will pay you quarterly, and some pay special dividends that can be pretty random. So you can structure your portfolio in a way that you're comfortable with. And if you scroll down, you can see roughly, this isn't entirely 100% correct. I find that it is most of the time, but you can see a breakdown of when you're getting paid, roughly how much you're getting paid. And it's just a cool little tool to use in this website. And then you can break it down per portfolio too. So if we look specifically at the Robinhood investing account that I was talking about, here is the breakdown, and then the Robinhood IRA that I have too. So I don't know, just a cool little feature of this site. Now, if I go into the future value of this portfolio, you can see what it's going to be worth if I don't really do anything else to it. I don't reinvest the dividends, but I just let this money sit there. I don't add to it. Well, in 10 years, it is valued first at, first it's valued at $38,715 at the end of the year. And then in 2033, it would be roughly $61,714. Now let's speed this up. Let's go 25 years out. It gets valued at $169,277. Annual income at that point, $9,344. So it's cool to see how this could potentially grow. But again, I think that this is not very telling in what the portfolio value is actually going to be, because I am going to soon be shoveling money into these portfolios, and you're going to watch this grow. Now, as part of the plan that I have, I really do like investing in the real estate investments, despite having a nightmare renovation and everything with the current property that I'm in. But that is just one other way, one other leverage you can pull to start working on getting relatively passive income. Now, I say relatively because right now it does take a lot of effort for investments that I'm making in real estate. A lot of the work falls on my shoulders, but you get to a point where you own so many rental properties that you can then hire a property management company and probably take about 90% of that workload off of yourself. That's what I'm hoping to get to in the future. But for now, I'm sticking with what I love. Dividend investing, going to grow out these portfolios, and I'm really excited for what the future brings. So anyways, guys, leave me a comment. Let me know what you thought about this video. I really appreciate you checking it out. Thank you so much, and have a great day.